Hey everybody, it's Dalton. Got me a little spotted bass here. I'm out here doing some fishing offshore. That one there, I got him close to the bank. I'm throwing about a 6-inch worm here, dragging it on the bottom. Got a football head, shaky head jig, and I'm just kind of dragging it around, kind of see how things go today. No, I got him. You know what's funny? A lot of times people will think that small bass won't take bigger baits, but if you look at this worm, this 6-inch worm, 6.5 inches, and look at the size of that bass. So yeah, they will definitely take bigger baits. I want to go over a technique with you. It's kind of a magnum shaky head. It's just a bigger approach to a shaky head. There's all kinds of worms you can use for this, but one of the ones that I like is a zoom trick worm. Color of this one's green pumpkin candy. Now this worm is about a 6.5 inch worm. It's got a really good profile, and sometimes I just like throwing bigger baits because I think it's going to give me a better chance to catch a big one out here. Let's kind of go over the setup. I've got this on my one of my worm rods. It's a 6'8" Okuma EVX with a 7.5-to-1 gear ratio loose speed spool, and I've got all 15-pound test fluorocarbon Seagar and Vizix. I'm using an owner jig head. This is a owner football shaky head. Okay, it's a 3/8 ounce. Sometimes I'll go heavier, but I don't have any wind today, so I don't need to worry about it. So setting this thing up, what I do is, this little worm's got some rings on it, so I'll bite it down to about the second ring. And this is a screw lock. So I'm going to take this worm, and I'm just going to screw the head into the jig head itself. And then all I do is I just take and I kind of bury that hook in there. I've got strong enough line and a tight enough drag where I can go ahead and, you know, bring that hook through this plastic, and it winds up looking like this. Okay, it's a really cool profile. The little tail, if you let it sit, will start slowly floating up, but I really don't let this thing sit. I have a specific use for this. It'd be the same if I used a wobble head. Okay, I want to fish this around rock. I want little, I call them little pea rocks. Okay, they're little bitty rocks, little pebbles, and what happens is that they'll come in from the shoreline, so they'll be all spread out, and I will move this through those rocks, and when this football head hits the little bit of pea gravel, it'll start moving, okay, and it'll swing that tail around, and that's when I get bet. That's what a football head, whether it's a jig or a jig head like this, that's when a football head shines, is in that pea gravel. You know, even boulders, it works really good, but I like to use that in that kind of rock, and I tend to catch quite a few fish on it. A little bigger profile bait, always hoping to get a bigger one, but it works out real well. The way I throw this thing, as far as the way I use it, it's pretty simple. I just throw it out, and I got to be honest with you, I just drag it like a jig. I do not fish it like a shaky head. A shaky head, a lot of times you're going to stop, you're going to shake the rod, you're going to twitch that slack, it's going to move that tail around. What I want this to do is be moved around by the rocks. So all I do is I just slowly drag it on the bottom. I will feel the rocks, and I just pop it off the rocks, and that's how I get bit. So if you haven't tried a Magnum shaky head in some of the more rocky areas, this is one of the ways to get in that rock, not get hung up so much, still stay with a Texas rig approach, but it just gives an entirely different profile. Well, I hope this video helps. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I'll talk to you next time.